I'm gonna start assembling the new motor and trans. So we got the PMC adapter kit for a ZF or Get Reg from a E46 BMW to a T6 and T5 white block. So we got to keep that flywheel, that's the automatic one that's on there, and we bolt this up, and then adapter plate, and then I think I just have to notch a little hole for the crank position sensor and then switch out the pivot on the clutch inside. So we're gonna start by doing the pivot. Comes with a, let's see, pivot here. Pull this one out. So you knock the old brass one out, and then this is a one that threads in from this side, and it's just a little bit taller than the other one. I got the adapter ring here. It's supposed to sit over these rings, but I think this flex plate is slightly bigger than what would be on a S80 T5 or T6 motor. So I think I'm gonna need to get a different, that it's like 5 mil too big. So I'm gonna have to source out a different flex plate and press pause on this. God damn it. Yeah, I got it figured out. You need a flex plate off an S80 to run this. I guess they're slightly smaller, and I think I also needed the starter off an S80. So it's Saturday. I'll probably have to wait till Monday for the record to open, and then hopefully they have something for me for not a bad price. Okay, fast forward 4 days, we're back. So for this kit, it's designed for a T6 motor, so you need the flex plate off early 2000s XC90 or S80. It's like 3 millimeters smaller, pretty hard to find, pretty expensive if you have to buy it new. But I lucked out, my wrecker had one for 125 bucks, and then you also need the matching starter off of that. So $250 for both. We're back on track. But we're just gonna rip this main seal really quick, because why not? And then bolt all this up, and hopefully the transmission will be on the engine today, right now. I don't want to have to wait any longer. First seal, do it. It's off. You don't want to do it when it's in the car. I'm gonna try and use a hook for this job. I don't know, I've seen online that you can, yeah, I might have to do the online. I think you gotta drill a couple holes and take it off pretty weird. But let's Google that. So the internet says you just pile drive a couple wood screws in there and pull it out. It seems barbaric, but we're gonna give it a go. You do a little pilot hole. Oh, you just put it in, it comes out. Wow, gorgeous. All right, let's give it a yank. Oh, mama! That's what we want. And they even gave me the right part. Let's clean that baby girl out. All right. This thing just comes with a bag of bolts. Definitely not sick. I wish they were all bagged up and labeled, but you have to sort them out yourself and refer to the manual online to see what they're gonna be. Another example of premium instruction reading. This is the stock flywheel bolt for an automatic. This, whatever this is. And you need the Volvo OEM bolts for a manual car. So I'm gonna have to order them. They only exist in Europe, right on. They're M11 by 26 mil long, which doesn't really exist except in this application. So another roadblock, just from tardation, but this puppy's on, it fits good. This starter, bada bing, bada boom. But once I get some of these, then we'll be rocking and rolling. I mean, I'm still waiting for engine mounts too, so. Fast forward a few more days. Another mod here, you gotta, this aftermarket starter off the XC90 or S80, you gotta drill out the threaded holes because it's getting mounted the other way now. Where those two bolts are, mounts from the other side and it's threaded on this side, so we're gonna drill these out. You gotta cut some holes in the bell housing, I'll show you where they are. Body saw, probably a good move. This is a BMW trans on a white block. Woohoo, yeah boy! So you have to cut a little hole for your starter here so it doesn't hit. And then you have to notch where your crank position is. And then I don't know if it's the same on the T6, but you also have to notch out a little more for this coolant line. And then you have to notch just down so the sensor's magnet can read the flex plate. But that's it. God dang. And then, yeah, just gotta get those bolts and we are rocking and rolling. All right, we got the tensioner back on, air conditioning, alternator. Hopefully I can get that AC. Yeah, I should probably be able to get those on. And then power steering still on the car. I'm just playing the find the bolt game, and I'm gonna swap out these stock injectors for the T5 injectors, T6. The 330cc injectors in there, they're an upgrade from I think 215 is stock. And then I'm just gonna pull this hot air return thing off of here because it's stupid and I don't want it. All right, we're gonna work on throwing the third pedal in. I think I just popped that off, and I mean, I've done this before, but I forget. Yeah, there's just a little plate there. So pop it off, slap it in. I got the master, pedal's on its way. So you just pop a TCM, I'll just unplug that because we don't need it anymore. And then there's two bolts there, and then we're good to go. I got this puppy straight from the UK. So we're just gonna, FTE, not Volvo, just gonna jam that puppy in there, like this. All right, we got this puppy pressure washed up. It's as good as it's getting. I'd love to powder coat this valve cover, but I have too much trauma from taking the last one off, so it's good enough. Clean this up a little bit, pretty roachy, but good enough. We're 2 weeks later, and look at these platinum bolts. These were about 160 Canadian dollars for 10 bolts. So that's pretty sick. But that means we can finally stick this on this. So let's do it. Let's weigh this flywheel first though, because I'm interested to see. Let's friggin'. So stock M90 flywheel is 45 pounds, I believe. And this is pretty much 15 pounds, which is insanely light. What?
They probably 3 or 4 screws in the top of each panel.
Nice. We are ready to insert. Throw some new bushings on here. New guibo. I guess I'll pull this off, try and get a flexi braided one so I don't have to flare anything. Maybe that'll make my life easy. I don't know. My engine mounts, I think, are still 9 days out, so I think I'm just gonna pop the motor in to dry fit it just so I can get a drive shaft measurement and get that made.
Are you freaking ready to enter the Thunderdome? I don't know, spot. Can you just like open up? Take this off because it's easy. Ooh, these fucking tires shut up. Can you still? Make sure it's okay. Just gotta be organized. What's in here doing this now? Can you just like pick it up till we're over? Well, what the frick? Why is the front end so long? It's not really sense. Hang on a second. See, like, if I go underneath and pull the trans down, so it's more vert, you know? Good work. Like that, so it's like... Even if it's like that, it still just hits the car. Doesn't make sense. How'd you get it out? No trans? No trans would be easier. Do a drop, more straight down. Yeah, but I was trying to get how... Because it's hitting, like it's maxed out lengthwise. Unless I could put a strap like really angled. Put it somewhere down.
So we're turning over now. It's not starting. I'm not entirely sure why. I don't think it could be anything to do with the trans. I spliced together the neutral safety switch, so that got it turning over. The only thing I could maybe think is that this is the stock crank position sensor. And maybe because the flex plate is 3-4 mils smaller in diameter, well, I guess like probably 6 mil in diameter, that maybe this magnet's not close enough and it's not really liking that. I don't know what else it could be. It's pretty simple. You got a big plug and it should fire. So car went turnover, and then I realized that there's a smaller flex plate. So this crank position sensor magnet needs to be trimmed. I think it's 2.5. So I took 2.5 millimeters off of this, plopped it right in, and it fired right up. So now I'm gonna work on pulling the stock exhaust and then fit the stainless manifold on. The drive shaft is at the drive shaft shop getting welded. And I basically just need to make a couple alterations to downpipe after the headers. And make a tranny mount, wait for my drive shaft to be done, and it should be driving. Yeah. Don't need this puppy. Just got the drive shafts out. So it needs to be 6 inches longer than this, and it needs this end. So I'm gonna take it to the shop and hopefully get them to slice this. I'm gonna slice this and add this puppy onto here, 6 inches longer, and then we'll be good to go. So we're basically back full circle to where we were 2 weeks ago. These are coming off. We're fitting those puppies back on. It's been a wild ride since then. I think we're gonna come out on top though. This engine's fully rebuilt, brand spanking. A little bit more flowing, that's for sure. First one of these puppies is on. Looks pretty good. Nice trajectory. I just said that there's like a heat shield on this engine mount right here, and then there's a bolt. It's a whole welded piece of metal that hosts the bolt that connects this, and you just have to grind down where that bolt goes, and then the manifold won't touch that. And this guy is kind of hitting right there. So I think I'm gonna need to like, where's the other one come out? Let's go underneath. So I think I'm just gonna like pie cut this puppy and kind kind of face it more towards this way, and then we'll bring 2 into 1 and do a full 2.5 out the back. Get rid of this crazy, look at that. That's so crazy. That is the worst exhaust design. So this is going out. So it's coming in. It's basically like I got a 3/4 inch little scooter exhaust on this. No wonder the motor wasn't happy. Look at that. 3 pedals. So that's a 740 clutch pedal. You gotta use the brake and the clutch. I'm just fitting this clutch master in here. I adapted the M12 flare end to a braided AN fitting, just for easiness. And that'll run down to the clutch slave. I'm still waiting for that M10 BMW clutch slave. I hope these can work together well. They're the right sizes for each other. If not, we're F-worded. Okay, I got a piece of stainless. It's 200 millimeters by 20 centimeters by 10.5. And I shortened the shifter rod. Don't worry about my welding. It's just fabulous. 216 mil. And I'm gonna try and bolt this over the stock shifter and then put this short shift in and pop a hole right there. Hopefully. All right, we're in. You know, a little backyard hillbilly action. Stainless plate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reverse. And then hopefully I can stick the stock stuff back in here. I mean, I could probably do that right now. Let's friggin' stick her in there, boys. All right. Everything's back in except maybe a shift boot here. This is, I think, in a good spot. I kind of wish it was a couple centimeters back, but I was just following the shift rod measurements from a guy who did this online that I found. So I think it's fine. It moves like freaking not very much. Probably better than being here, actually. We're chilling. We just got this puppy back. So this half, stock 960, and then he just welded the E86N on there. We'll toss that in. And then I'm just gonna limp it to the drive exhaust shop and get them to finish this up. I don't have much business welding that stuff. So we'll just pay for it. Oh, I don't think my clutch is gonna work. That's what I'm manifesting right now.
How positive.
So we just got the drive shaft back in. We just bled up the master and slave for the clutch. And now we're just gonna see if the wheels spin and everything's working properly. Wheels are spinning. This is a big day. Everything's working mint.
we're going to the exhaust shop now to drop it off for a couple weeks because I'm out of town. But the drive to the exhaust shop was mental. It has probably 4 times the power it did before. It's going to be such a fun car. I can't wait to drive it without open headers.
Wish I had an exhaust.